Hello, welcome, and as always, welcome to the aftermarket analysis session. This is an aftermarket analysis session where we look at what happened in the order flow after the Indian markets Nifty and Bank Nifty have closed. Within Nifty and Bank Nifty, where the buyers were interested, where the sellers were interested, and how to effectively use and read the footprint. We tried to do this. So if you are new, want to learn order flow, or want to learn how to effectively use GoCharting, you can join this live session every day. It starts at 4:30 p.m. and goes on until 5:30 p.m. You will find the link to this live session on the GoCharting Discord and Telegram community. Thirdly, if you are using or looking at GoCharting, you will see a notification on the right side. The webinar link is also uploaded here. If you are unable to join this live session before 4 p.m., the recording of this live session will be available on GoCharting's Hindi channel, English channel, Spanish channel, and French channel. The links to all those channels are provided in the description. Holi has just passed, and GoCharting's special Holi offer is also ongoing. You are getting 30% off on the annual subscription. The next offer, who knows when this offer will come again? It is available until the 7th, until April 7th. Available only on Navali. Only on Navali. So, now, for once, let's talk about Nifty first. Let's take a look at the overview. Overview in the sense of what was the confirmation of the volume profile yesterday. Let's take a look. Okay, see this. This was the most important volume profile zone from yesterday. Okay, this note was made, and the note from the previous day was also here. So, what did we do? We took yesterday's high, which is the value area, and also took the low of the value area node from the previous day. Okay, so a significant level was formed here, below which, if it breaks, then the volume profile from the previous day was directly here, and it covered more than half the distance. So, with the confirmation of this volume profile, now let's see how the order flow worked today based on the confirmation of these volume profiles. The tick size of Nifty is 180. If you look at the order flow, you can set the tick size of Bank Nifty above 400. Okay, above 350. Tier. I am not using imbalance charts, but cluster charts. And you can find the settings for these cluster charts on Discord, which are the same settings I am using. Okay. So before reading the footprint properly, you should know what delta is, because we use delta to read the footprint here. Delta, simply put, is the difference between buyers and sellers, which we refer to as delta. Like when we pick the first candle. Okay. This first candle is from yesterday. Sorry. This first candle is of Nifty, this one. Okay. What is its delta? The topmost value is the delta. It's around 39,000, close to 40,000. Right now, this delta is inside the red box. And in front of this 39,000 value, there is also a negative sign. So that means this is a -1 delta. Negative delta always denotes sellers, meaning this value is the seller's value. This is called negative delta, and its value is around 40,000. Let's assume it's around 40,000, meaning in this entire candle. On the right side we have buyers and on the left side we have sellers. So, to understand the total of sellers as one, assume it's 140,000, and there will be buyers of 100,000 within this candle. So, what is the difference? 40,000. So, the delta value we have is 40,000. Meaning, what was the conclusion of this entire candle? If we summarize, there were 40,000 more sellers within this candle. In this candle, there are more sellers simple. Now let's look at one more candle, like this one. We've taken this candle. What's with this candle? Positive delta. Sorry, it's the next one. Okay, what's with this candles? Positive delta? It's in the green box, and there's no negative sign in front of the value. So that means this is one positive delta. Positive delta always indicates buyers. The 180 hour is a positive delta. Positive delta denotes buyers, which means there are more buyers within this candle. If there's a positive delta, then there are approximately 23,000 more buyers. So now what we'll do is, like we pick any candle. We pick this candle, okay? Before that, let's look at the delta. The value of one delta is 40,000. One is just 1,007,000. Again 30,000. Okay. Again 37,000. Whether positive or negative. It means there are some candles whose delta is around 30,000 to 40,000, like this one, and this one. And there are some candles whose delta is just 7,000. Okay, just 600, just 9,000, just 1,000, meaning there are some candles that have a very heavy delta, and the candles that have a heavy delta are the ones with heavy buying and heavy selling. The candles with a heavy delta. And there are some candles whose delta is very low, so those candles have very few buyers and very few sellers. So, who clarifies the market direction? Those with heavy buying and heavy selling. Okay, so which candles should we follow? The ones with more buying and more selling. Which candles are those? Any candles with a delta of around 30,000 or more, whether on the positive side or the negative side. We will read the order flow of those candles. How will we read them? Like today's first candle. In the first candle, no doubt, there is a large volume every day. Please be careful and observe it, like when the delta is above 30,000. Yes, there was significant selling, and now it's above 30,000. So the seller is on the left side, and it's outside on the right side. So who is powerful within this candle? According to the delta, it's the seller. So which is better? When the sellers are powerful in this candle, then what better option do we have to redeem? Or after redeeming the sellers, let us look at that particular point where the seller is the most. Like the selling at 45 and 42. The activity is simply fine. Right now, there's no point in interpreting this buying and selling because it's the first candle and the volume is always high in the first candle. Okay. Let's read some of the next candles. Selling is happening now. But the selling isn't that powerful. Again, they're selling, but it's not that powerful. Okay, which one would be powerful? The one around 30. We saw another selling around 30. Okay. In this candle, who is powerful? The sellers. Where is the place where the sellers are most powerful? We quickly went through the seller's side once. And this is the particular place where the most sellers are active. So what will we do? We will mark this zone, meaning we have marked one low. A seller attempted to break yesterday's support zone. Sold. And what confirmation did the next two candles give? The price went above it. The price went above it. Selling happened, but after selling, the price didn't go down. It went up. This means the selling was absorbed here, and whenever selling is absorbed, it faces resistance and acts as support. Further selling was absorbed, and a buying attempt also happened. Look, around 30,000. That means one selling was absorbed. And on top of that, the second confirmation is that aggressive buyers also stepped in here. This means this low can work again. It held there, printed a pin, and gave an upside move. Up to this point, the value area low that we marked as support became a big node, right? So we can convert this into two parts, value area high, value area low. At the value area low, we saw selling absorption. Aggressive buyers stepped in and gave an upside move. But even in this upside move, there is a test. What is that twist? There has been quite a bit of buying activity. Okay, in both candles, the maximum delta is around 43, but the twist is that whatever buying activity happened in this candle has been perfectly absorbed. Perfectly absorbed. Now many people ask what a complete auction is, meaning how to do it perfectly. Here is a perfect example that whenever an auction is completed, it is happening with absorption. We are not just looking at the completion of the auction alone. It is happening with solid volume and it is being absorbed. So what we are seeing here, a buying absorption is happening and a selling absorption is happening. Above these two levels, the buying and selling of order flow created a support and a resistance. Absorption continued at both places. It came back to the pullback in this candle. And again there was selling from the same zone. In the next candle, aggressive buying was seen around the 42,000 mark, but it couldn't touch the resistance. The reason it couldn't reach the resistance could be that selling was absorbed. Aggressive buyers were present. Everything was fine up to this point. But look at this candle. Again the sellers made an attempt. And this was the selling activity around 67,000. This could also be the reason that another selling absorption was observed. Aggressive buyers were centered. But still, the price didn't reach there. Aggressive sellers entered midway. And if we look at this example, here, where the selling absorption happened, the price went from here to there, with no selling activity in between. But there was significant selling activity here. This 67K has, again, come to a pullback with selling activity. The delta of 39K, 31K is also around 30K. And finally, the delta of 55K, CityK's delta, and this zone was broken with significant selling. The selling of 61K, 43K, and 41K is currently being observed. What's next is one buying attempt. It came to a pullback at 45K. The price easily came to the pullback. One buying attempt was made. It went up a little but is still stuck above the resistance. This is the same resistance where aggressive sellers were continuously trying to break through this level, and the level was broken. Now, the price is at the pullback. One buying attempt was made. Another buying attempt was made. Another buying attempt was made at 59. Another buying attempt was made at 36 and 20, but still. A buying attempt was made at 71, but still. The price is not going up from here. There have been 12 transactions, but it is not clear-cut. It came back within the same range. Sellers broke it from the outside, making a considerable attempt to come back within the same range. But even now, the limit sellers are more powerful there. As soon as the price reached these buying zones where buying activity had occurred. Look at this from 45 to 32. The price cleared all this buying activity in this zone. In this candle, these candles showed decent selling, followed by more selling and a sideways rotation of the price. It means a buying attempt was made. A significant amount of buying occurred. All the buyers were absorbed. And as soon as the price went below all these buying zones, it means now the buying attempts made by these buyers are not going to work anymore. There was significant selling again. This selling happened at 61. The price came again. Came on the pullback. This pullback wasn't that solid. Again, the price started to move downside. With significant selling, a pullback occurred. Again, we saw another round of selling, and more selling was observed. Came on the pullback. This time, there is no interest from any buyers anywhere. As soon as this first selling attempt happened, meaning when it was rejected from here, Significant selling occurred. Okay. Again, aggressive sellers entered. Sellers entered. A significant number of sellers entered. A pullback is happening. No buyers are interested. All the interested buyers were here last time, along with a good pullback. Again, a pullback happened. Again, another selling came on the downside towards 135, and it got rejected from here. What was the scene? With Nifty's closing today? Selling was absorbed. The buyer entered, moved to the upside, but here buying exhaustion occurred. Again, some selling pressure happened, but in the middle of the road, sellers became active again, meaning selling exhaustion happened once, twice, and the third time, finally sellers broke this zone. A solid buying attempt was made on the pullback to bring the market back into this range, with continuous buying attempts, but all the buying was concentrated here. When the entire buying zone was broken to the downside, then continuous selling came again. This time, buyers completely disappeared. A pullback came. A downside pullback came. This was today's Nifty. Bank Nifty was also very good today. If we try to read the order flow well, the first volume stepping in Bank Nifty happened at 10:01 and also at 9:25. But here all the buying means what you are seeing is more buyers in the delta. Now we are reading the buyer's side, where particularly the most happened at 11, after which the price came down. A resistance was created again, around the same zone. But buying exhaustion is happening, but aggressive sellers are not entering as much. Okay, again a pullback came, again buying exhaustion, again a pullback came. Wherever you see, only buying exhaustion is visible, and after buying exhaustion, no solid downside move is coming. We are stuck in the same range. Okay, let's see further. This time a solid selling came, 20K selling, 9K selling, and 20K selling. Finally rejection came from the buying exhaustion zone. A good rejection was selling. This time on the pullback, the buyer completely disappeared. Why is this pullback stronger? Because the previous pullbacks were not as strong. Because here aggressive sellers entered. Buying exhaustion was happening. When will buying exhaustion end? What confirmation do we have? Whenever after buying, aggressive sellers enter once, so the previous buying exhaustion is now over. A good pullback came, just like Nifty. It caught a downtrend. Again here 16K selling came, bust selling came, and from here, taking some rejection, Bank Nifty gave closing from these selling zones. Okay, whoever has doubts, unmute yourself and ask.